Alright, hello everybody. I am gonna try to talk. Usually I've just been playing the game and not saying anything, but I've been told that this is boring, so I'm not sure how my voice is gonna make it any less boring, but I will explain everything that I'm doing as I go along. I figured I'd start over since I'm doing this again. So, I'm using the same world, but since I'm just doing this for fun, I'm going to make this an easy world. So I'll do my embark width a little smaller so it takes up less memory and time. And I've got my population cap set to 180 with the strict of 200. That makes things a little easier on the computing load. And what else can I possibly do in the front here? Not much. But when I create the game, there are a couple of things I can do that will make things easier too. Alright, so I've got that done. We'll do start the game, create... Yeah, I've already created a world. If you don't know how to do that, it's easy enough to the game to walk you through it. So I've got a small world with lots of creatures, and we're just going to find a place inside of it to look for something to do. Now I'm using DF hack because I like the find features when you're creating a new world. It's got lots of fun cheats that could make the game even easier, and I do rely on them a couple of times for a couple of things until I get things really going. And when things slow down, I can use what's called fast dwarf, which helps speed up the game enough to make it enjoyable while you're doing your things. But here's my world. We're going to find an embark location. We're looking for 2-2. I don't really care about savageries. Let's see. Temperature, rain, drainage. I want a flexstone layer. I don't like the aquifers. They're easy enough to get through when you're playing, the light ones anyway. But I don't want to bore my audience, since apparently they're already bored to tears. We'll do a river to make things easier. We do want clay. We do want sand. And I like my iron. And it doesn't really matter what else is coming. And so I can do mead. We're going to do medium temperature to make sure we get some honeybees. And then begin. And it should come up with a couple of spots for us. And to make things even easier on myself, we'll pick a spot that's got a lot of nice trees. Alright, match found. And you gotta use your keys to get around here. Let's see. This one looks interesting. Let's see what we got. Clay, sand, very deep soil. I like the zinc because I can make brass. It's a hot temperature, but I guess it's... What I like about this one is that I don't have a lot of river to mess with. It looks like the beginning of a river. So let's go ahead and go with it. Oh no, it's savage area, wildlife. Blah, blah, blah. Wait, hang on. No, this is good. Let's go with this. Alright. I'm going to customize the enemies. The only thing I really want to do is, I'm going to turn off werebeasts. They're the only thing that I find I have trouble with because they create spiraling damages and can really mess up things. We'll have enough with Mega Beast and trying to do our own thing inside the fortress. So, let's go with that. And I guess I'll walk everybody through how I like to set up the skills. I like to set up 3 miners, a woodcutter, so we can get the trees started felling down, piss off the elves. Then we'll have a mason, because that's the first shop we're going to create. Mechanic, who's under labor, not under the crucial for some reason. There he is, right at the top. And then a grower. Is he under crucial? Where are you at? My eyes are not working this morning. Look at her eyes. Yeah, I guess it's not that important. There's a grower somewhere. I think it's under labor. Where are you? This is the biggest annoyance with this game, is trying to find all the things that are hidden within when there's not a search available. Planter. I guess that's what they call it now. Okay, so we got everybody set up with their own thing for their professions. Now we're going to set up who the different royalty, or not royalty, but nobles are going to be. Because we're going to need an administrator, an appraiser, that sort of stuff. So, manager. We'll have the planner be the manager. So we need it to be an organizer. And I always set up a secondary appraiser in case we need a second trader. The mechanic, since he doesn't do too much either, he will be our appraiser and our trader. So we're going to make him a where is he? Negotiator, so he can get good prices. The mason we will make our record keeper. And do I want him to be anything else? Not yet. Not yet. We'll get through that. And then I usually make the miners the doctors for some reason, but it works out pretty well. So we'll need a diagnostician first, then a surgeon, then a bone doctor, and our woodcutter can take care of suturing and wound dressing. And he can be our regular doctor. Alright, so that way we can fill all the requirements once we get into that. Alright, so the next thing we want to do is give them a couple of combat skills. And since we want our leader, we're going to make him the Marks Dwarf. And he can be a dodger, have a dodging skill as well, since that's what you need with those two together. Everybody else, I generally make, let's see, just so he'll have the axes. We'll make the woodcutter and axe dwarf, and then just so they can teach other people when they come in, we'll start with a shield user. The miner can be a swords dwarf and an armor user. Then we'll do mace dwarf, general fighter, hammer dwarf, and he likes to strike people. And then the mason can be our spear dwarf and a striker. Alright, let's keep going along. I like everybody to be able to read and write. That's under the other skills. Where's reading and writing? Here we go. Writer and a reader. This way, because I started early in the game, it's only got like a 5-year history instead of the 50-year, 100-year. Everybody likes to have the long histories, but when you start an early game in few years, you don't get books or written scrolls or codexes and those sort of fun things. Not in the early years, anyway. And if you can get your library going, sometimes you'll be the one creating these things before they begin arriving with the traders. So we'll see what happens. I plan on playing this one for a long time. I'm tired of starting over, and I've always wanted to see how far I can get with one of these stupid games before I get bored. So we'll keep going. Alright, now we can give them other skills, because we've got the medical, we've got the leadership. Actually, we don't have a leader, do we? Let's make our planner the leader. Where are you? Where's the leader stuff? Here we go. I don't want to base things on fear, so we'll keep going with that. We'll make him a good pacifier. And leader, what is another good skill to have for a leader? Consoler. Everybody comes to the leader and goes, make me feel better. Alright, mechanic. We'll make him a critical thinker, a logician. Oh, we also need one of our players to be a strategist and a schemer. I always forget about the schemer. But I don't want it to be my doctor or diagnostician, so let's make this minor the tactician and the schemer, because we'll need a dungeon master eventually. There we go. Alright. I did do a record keeper for somebody. Yes, you did. Okay. Alright, let's make everybody a teacher too that we can. That speeds up everybody else getting to higher experience levels in the game, particularly when you're trying to train up your military so that you can go deeper and deeper into the dungeon and take care of those nasty goblins coming your way. Okay. And I forgot what I was doing. Did I make a schemer or made a schemer? Alright, so now we got some skills to just throw away. And I say throw away, but this is what makes them fun. Since they're all readers and writers, we can make them things that make their lives interesting when they go to write books. So, fluid engineer, geographer, there we go. His skills are all gone. Go chemist, astronomer, mathematician. You only get one more thing, dude, so dance for me. And he can be a wind instrument, make his own saxophone. And we got one more for you. What should we do? You can be my backup appraiser. Alright. You can be the funny one. Comedian and a flatterer. So you don't get Don Rickles and putting everybody down. And a singing comedian. Alright. There's our violinist. And oh my. And a speaker. Why not? Alright, everybody's are filled. Let's go to items real quick. Alright. I like to start out with more seeds than we, for particularly plump tails and plump helmet spawn. I like to focus on those two so I can get a cloth industry going and keep everybody drinking so they're happy. We only need one anvil, but I like to bring extra axes and a lot of extra picks. Let's see. Since it switched to Steam, the game is very generous with the amount of points you get here to spend. You used to have to take things off your list in order to get some interesting stuff. And a lot of this you don't really need when you're getting started, particularly in an easy location like I have selected. But let's give these guys some interest, and we'll get different types of drinks to come along with this. And I don't worry about meat, but I like to get more fish because fishing takes up a lot of time, and you've usually got your guys doing other stuff. And you also want to make sure you have plenty of shells in case you get somebody with a strange mood who needs a damn shell. Because those are hard to come by until you've got your caverns open and a fishing place and people you can waste time fishing with. Alright, we got bags, thread. I like an extra rope or two. And then since I've already set up everybody with their with some combat skills, we're going to get started. Make sure we've got a couple of cheap things to come along with it. Mace, spear, short sword, warhammer. I should have enough battle axes. And I get the cheap shit because I'd like to get my metal industry started pretty early with a neat little trick that I'll share. And I guess I need a crossbow too. Where's the crossbow? Here we go. Copper crossbow. And which means I need some ammo. I like silver in case you get some weird stuff coming along with you. The supernatural things. And then we'll get the cheaper stuff. Copper bodywear. Here we go. Oh no! We ran out of points. What can we get rid of? We're going to be doing a lot of wood, so we can get rid of all the crutches and stuff. And because when we set up the manager, we'll get that too. Same thing with the wheelbarrow and the step ladder. It's not that important to have when you first get there. They can just gather crap off the ground instead of getting stuck in their trees with the step ladders. What else don't we really need? No, that should be good. Alright, so we got a mail shirt. We don't need a breastplate. We'll get the helms. Handwear. We'll bring some gauntlets. And some high boots. And some chain leggings. And we only have enough for one, but trust me, once we get into it, we'll have plenty of metal going. And sure, we'll bring a shield. And we still have a couple extra points, so let's see, 3 copper battle axes, 5 picks. We don't need more than that. What do we need? Mail shirts. We'll get an extra mail shirt so we can get 2 guys going. Alright, and then 14 points to get rid of. So let's go ahead and just put them into seeds. There we go. Alright. Save profile. We'll call this balanced. Oh, you can save it even though I don't plan on starting another fortress for a long time. And embark! Yay! Oh! Since we're at a good stopping point, let me get my stupid chat thing up in case anybody ever shows up, because I don't know how to use this OBS Studio, OSB, or whatever the hell it is. And somehow I already screwed up and lost the chat window.
There are 5 things wrong with it.
That is not what I want.
She's standing right there. I'm just better than she is.
Alright, stop that. Give me a second. I'm popping up the live chat, even though I know nobody's watching. But you should know that I'm watching, just in case anybody does pop in. Alright, live chat is going. And oh, here's a peek of me. Hi. Just so you know what I look like. And yes, I do squint at the screen because my glasses don't work in between the long range and the short range. And I gotta squint a little to read all the crap on the screen sometimes. Alright, that's enough of my ugly mug. Oh, wrong image. Ha ha ha. I'm clicking everything wrong. Okay, and I'm going to start doing this, so when I come back and edit, I can take out the breaks. But I'm taking a break. Okay, I'm back. Let's get started. Now, first thing we need to do, clear some trees. And we'll start with the immediate area around our thing, and then we'll set up. I like to get the perimeter clear for future expansion. And, ooh, look at that. There's our little spring starting the river. I don't like how close it is to things, but we'll probably be deep enough soon where we don't have to worry about it. Now, I've got a little pattern that I usually do for where I set a central staircase going down, and I do it right under the wagon because it's usually in the middle, but it looks a little offset today. So let me do a quick search for the middle. There we go. And I wish I had better talents at finding a way to find the middle real quick. But this is a quick and easy way to do it. I erase every third one and then put an extra one at every third of the threes. And do it from the other side as well. And it's obviously easier to do in the long direction than the shorter direction. So that's why I start in this one. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we don't need also, I'm just going to mention, I don't have a lot of this background music. If somebody knows a place to get better free, copyright free background music, send me a link. Alright, 3. That was 4. So, our midpoint, and I usually do it off to the right, is here. Alright, and then in this direction we need to go down 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 4 and 6. Alright. So, let's figure that out real quick. I know this is boring, guys, but if you don't set it up right, it screws up the rest of the game. And I am very, oh no, I gotta say it, I'm very anal about these sort of things. Impatient. I guess it makes it a boring video, but that's fine. Like I said, let me know if I'm lulling you to sleep nicely or not with my droning voice. That way I know I'm at least successful at something. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's my mid spot. Okay, now we turn it into stairs, and to keep the dwarves from, oh, that's why, it's right under the edge of the thing. So I could tell my thing was offset. That means we got to do our stairs a little differently Those aren't stairs. We'll go down from this point. We'll get them going a couple of levels. But this is fine. Get rid of this so I don't have garbage in my way later. Now, I have future plans for what happens on the right and left of my central staircase. So I box out a 10 by 10 square, and it creates a nice contingency for what to do when you're underneath the water like this. It gives me an area to come up on the corners of my... And this is actually kind of a new situation. This will be kind of cool. Because the way it'll work out is I have my river starting in the middle of my fortress. And everybody loves a water feature. Everybody loves parfait. Alright. Oh yeah, this could be very interesting. So I don't have to work as hard to get water coming into my guys. Alright. This will be very nice. I can set up my pumping system earlier than I thought. But first we got to get the rest of the fortress set up. And I'll need this tree out of the way. And I'm going to get rid of this, because I will need the space underneath it to set up how it's coming down. So we'll do that through the exterior steps at the corners, which means I got to come down even further. So let's get this going. Oh man, I'm sure y'all can hear it. Those are the jackasses who cut the yard at my office. Actually, they do a pretty good job, except they don't clean up the trash that gets thrown around, which is kind of frustrating. But they create a lot of noise in the background. And they're working on the side of my building. And they usually spend about half an hour out there, so I guess you'll just have to listen to it if you can even hear it in the background of the microphone. I'm so sorry about that. Alright, so dwarves are ready. My first setup are ready. We got the trees ready to clear out some of the area up top. So let's go ahead and get things started, and we'll see how deep the soil is. Here come the little buggers right now. At least I'm drinking a lot of coffee to keep talking like this. I hope y'all are enjoying it. I'm not used to talking. Not to myself anyway, which is what this feels like. Alright. Here we go. We're getting into the stone now. I like to start things down in the stone for my shops, just because it looks better without having stuff growing around it later on when we puncture into the caverns and the spores start coming. So let's pause it and get our outline going here. Down a couple of levels. There we go, down to 10. Alright. And there was clay, there was our last one. Alright, dolomite. We'll start here. Actually, one down. because I like to do the farming is one level, and then the general shops on another level. And we can make this more important so that we can get our workshop as the first spot. The second spot we'll want is we want to start growing as quickly as possible too, so we get our food things going. And the only one we need for growing is plump helmet to start. We can do others later. And then the next one we do is a general storage space so we can empty the wagon out and keep things from getting stolen. Alright, and I hope y'all see how I'm doing this. It's very easy to count and get your general spaces in this 10 by 10 grid that I've sort of created. It's an artifact from when I used to play just with the keyboard in the ASCII version back from before Steam released it. But if you do things in this 3 by 3 component, you get these larger grids that you can work within and break up into smaller areas. And it work out to 10 by 10 areas, which used to be the larger shift movement with the arrows in the old Dwarf Fortress. With the mouse, as long as it's easier to count by threes, it makes it pretty easy. But I can set up grids real quickly for the sections I like to create. And I just totally screwed this one up because I like this to run in the other direction for the farming workshops. So I will correct that real quick. 3, 3, all right, there we go. 1, and go up. And you get 3 blocks of 3 going in one direction. And kind of neat because of your dwarves, if you skip the pathways, you get 3, 6, 7, and you can create a larger block of your workshops. And I can break things up like this later. And then when I don't connect them, they won't get mined by the dwarves, and I can always just come back and add the section later to come and do it. But I set this one to 1 because we want this one to be the first that they create. Because I want to get my mason shop, my mechanic shop, the carpentry shop, and the jeweler set up first. And I do the jeweler first because you want to make something valuable enough to be worth trading for when the first traders come, because that's your most vulnerable time when you're first getting set up and not everything else is set up yet. So and these aren't as important, so I'm going to set them to a lower priority as we get things started. And we do need our storage space. I'll set that to 2. And then these are all set for 1. Now let's go down in priority a little bit, because we want to get things going first, and then we can start making everybody a little bit more specialized as we go later. Alright, so we're going to start dig down to 10 first and take care of the other ones, and then they'll get up and take care of the shops. Alright. Alright, come on, guys. Alright, I'll tell you what. Since I'm playing easy, we're going to go ahead and cheat. And I'm going to turn Fast Dwarf on just so I can get things done. And keep talking. I don't like to use Fast Dwarf because later on in the game it really screws with the priorities of what's happening in the game. And your dwarves end up doing nothing, even though you have plenty of tasks assigned. And I'm not sure what causes that, but I wish I could fix it. But this way I got to pause a lot to get things done. Alright, so we got our first area cleared. And even though this works better later on if you create them with flooding, we're going to go ahead and set up a farming area so that our farmer can start getting busy with planting our first crop. So, here we go. Plant helmets. And I've just set it up for the whole year. Alright, everybody's taken care of. That'll keep him and a couple of other guys busy. I like this. It's already got a lot of places clear for me. So let's start with the Mason's Workshop. I'm going to turn Dolomite off because it's a an economic stone, and I like to do my steel industry later. So we're going to we'll turn that and chalk off, and we'll go with jet. Now, unfortunately, you saw the small numbers. It means I'm going to have to do a lot of digging to make up for it, since my fluxstone layers are higher than I like them to be. But we can also set up our first woodworking shop. Carpenter. Actually, let's wait for him to make a stone or two. Alright, here we go. Make rock blocks. And we'll do jet first. Set it to repeat until he runs out. And I'm going to go ahead, this is where you do this. Labor under stone use. Starts off in economic. We're going to go down to Dolomite, turn it off. Chalk, turn it off. Makes the game a little harder at the beginning when your fluxstone is like this, but I don't care. We'll find a way around it. Alright, make us a couple of stones. There you go, you're important now. Alright. Do our carpenter workshop. Jet blocks. And what's next? Mechanic. Jet blocks. And jeweler. Now the jeweler's got a oriented side. So I put it on this side, and I'll show you why. This blocks, when it's completed, entry from this side. So they have to be on the left when I continue, and I'm not going to connect them right now, but when I continue my 7 up this way, they'll be connected on this side. And then this side, I don't usually have a lot, so I'll use extra shops when I'm trying to speed thing up, but it's nice to have a bowyer shop even if I don't use the jets, the marksman that often. Alright, so we'll get that set up. And since I'm playing on fast dwarf for the moment, there's some other things we can set up as well too. I do a lot the other workshops on this side. So let's go ahead and get those set up. There we go. Block that off. And this is kind of what's frustrating about the beginning of the game, is that most of what you're doing is just setting up what the hell your fortress is going to look like. But that's okay, because planning is what I really enjoy about the game, almost as much as the rest of the game itself. I mean, seriously, if you're going to be a micromanager, let's micromanage from the beginning. Alright. Now, let's do the same thing up top, because I do have other things I like to keep my dwarves busy with in the farming community. Gotta have your farmers. Sorry if my Alabama accent comes through there. I lived there for 20 years before moving back to New Orleans. Okay. And I want to make this more important too, because this is where I'll set up my first still and get people going with that. Okay, since they cleared this out, I'm going to set up the stockpile area right here. And I generally just do everything I know that's on the wagon, just so they'll clear out the wagon. And what I'll often forget to do is come back and clear out those that I don't need anymore. So this one fills up pretty quickly, but I generally turn it into just food later on. What else do we have on there? And weapons. Alright. And that's done. Alright, I'm going to slow my dwarves down a little bit and keep them running. Since they'll be busy for a little while unloading things, and I don't need to keep going that fast, because we're going to go and take care of our royalty. Not our royalty, what do they call it? Nobles and administrators. And this is a good stopping point for me to take another quick break, because my throat is starting to hurt, since I don't talk like this very often or for very long in my natural course of working during the day. So, I will be right back. Oh! Look at that. I gotta move that. There we go. For next time. Alright, I am back. So let's get everything set up here where we need it. We do need a manager. And our expedition leader can be the manager for the moment. There we go. Our broker will be our woodcutter. And a bookkeeper. There we go. Okay. And I'll leave the rest blank for the moment until we get more people in. I like my bookkeeper to keep very good records, so you can stay on highest precision even though it takes more time. And that's fine. Alright, so we got things going with this. Now we need to set up a place to have some bedrooms for our guys. But I also like first to have my administrators have their offices so that we can keep things rolling along, because I rely very heavily on the manager to manage my work. So I set up 2 groups of rooms. To start with. And the rest of these rooms aren't quite as important as the first 2, but I still like to have them ready. Because if I speed my little dwarves up again, they'll take care of this toot sweet. Pardon my French. Alright, and now we're waiting on everybody to continue emptying out. And our woodworker is busy. Oh, I forgot about this. There's a bug in the game that's kind of annoying, where one of your guys starts out with the fishing even though you didn't tell him to become a fisher. So I always turn off fishing altogether at the beginning, because it's keeping somebody busy that I could be having doing other things. Alright, everybody's still planting. I don't have my carpenter set up yet. He already used all of the jet. Let's see what else we're getting. Still dolomite and microcline. Alright, so let's make some microcline blocks. No, that's not enough. But I'll at least be able to make some other shops while we're waiting to find more stone that's not a flux stone. Dolomite, lignite. Come on, guys. What's everybody doing? Planting seeds. Oh, yeah, we're going to have plenty of plump helmet to start with. But I really need my other shops completed, and I need more to talk about. So let's fast dwarf them and get things going. Alright, there we go. Unload the thing. We already have pests. No, those are pond turtles. Good. More food. There we go. That was quick. Alright, so first thing we need are 2 chairs to set up offices. And new task, wooden chair, and then I will use the manager to set up doors. That's another bug in the game, where you can't type if you've already typed in under tasks. Alright, and then don't show that again. If my amount of free doors is less than 10, it will make 10 more automatically. And if the amount of logs is greater than 10, because you need 10 logs to make 10 doors. Alright, so that'll keep that busy. And I find it's because they make them so quick in the carpentry shop, I usually start off all my furniture using the carpenter shop. So we'll have a couple of guys when the migrants start arriving, pretty much doing nothing but making furniture for our dwarves. Because that's generally kind of what you start with when you're starting in a wooded area. And you have lots and lots of logs. So, that's one of the industries you want to get going first thing. Now, you notice I haven't done anything with the mechanic yet. It's because I'm looking to find some magma safe stuff. I like to turn all the magma safe rocks into mechanisms for later on, even though you don't really need that to begin with. Alert, what do we got? Uh-oh. The hell collapsed on the surface? I guess one of the trees. That's weird. I hate when that happens. Oh no! We have an injured citizen. Let's see how badly he's hurt. And we haven't had a chance to set up a hospital yet, so I guess we got to speed things up on that front. Let's take care of that. I usually do the hospital on the same level. Let's make this top priority. Alright, I usually set up an operating room and a traction bench room to begin. And then, and this also works nicely too, because you can set it up as a dormitory before you've got a whole bunch of beds and individual rooms for the dwarves. They can just live in the fucking hospital until you got everything set up. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And yes, there is a reason that I make the hospital bedroom smaller, is because if I were playing with the were beasts turn on, your hospital is usually where your injured dwarves will end up. And I like to have both a door and a bridge set up in case your injured patient has been turned into a werebeast. And even though I'm not doing the werebeasts at the moment, it's just habit. I like to set it up so that I can set up a bridge later, because you can lock them in the room and then they're stuck there and cannot be going around turning everybody into werebeasts. Alright, so we got that started, and now we have to also prioritize making some other furniture components we're going to need in the hospital. So we're going to need 2 tables, a chest, and a cabinet. So we'll get that done, and since we already have, or at least I think we do, our chairs set up here, we can get the office. Oh darn it, I hate that. Keep building, even though now I don't need it after this one, but there we go. Let's see how many doors we already have made. Alright. We're going to start with the office for the manager because he's the most important. Whoops. If you click on multi and select where the chair is going to be, it picks the whole area for you and you don't have to trace it at yourself, and I like that. It speeds things up. Alright, whoops. Now we go select the area. Alright, and our expedition leader is also our manager at the moment, so that's his office. I'll make this the dining room later, and then this turns into the bedroom. Okay, so that's taken care of. So, let's get our hospital set up first. Here come the miners. And let's see if our table is done yet. There we go. Oops, I forgot we need a mechanism. I don't think saltpeter is magma safe. But why not? Let's use it. Just get rid of the saltpeter that we do have. Alright. And then put a cabinet. Oops, those aren't ready yet. Alright guys, finish my hospital. Come on. La la la. We'll check on everything else yet. Make a traction bench. Do that quickly. Alright, should be done with the cabinet. A chest in one. Cabinet in the other. Door. Alright, then we need beds. While I'm here, we'll make this distillery. Farming. Jet block. Where was I? Oh, we're going to need beds. Let's get the bed started. Make a bed. Alright. I do 42 beds because I set up the greater blocks for the rooms later on. We're going to need 42 beds to fill up the entire block. And then even after that, you're going to need the beds to keep going a little bit faster because we're going to want to have nicer quality beds. And it's nice to always have a couple on hand when you're ready to upgrade your rooms. So, but anyway, 42 is my magic number. And yes, there's good reason for that. Blaming Douglas Adams. I like this particular background music. It's nice and dramatic. But I'm also remembering, should do the same thing for the doors. There we go. That way I've got enough doors and stuff to expand later on. But let's get our hospital finished dug out, and we've got to set the zone for it. Traction bench should be ready by now. Okay. Dwarves are nice and fast. Let's set our zone. I like to set it as a dormitory. Ta-da! New hospital. And then we go to the details. We can come back and adjust all these things later to take up more as we get more dwarves around, but for now just leave it at 5. Our chief medical dwarf, let's see, where was, oh, it escaped. Diagnostician, I usually do. The chief medical dwarf is the same guy. Our doctor. We'll make a miner the regular. And a bone doctor, who you usually need more than anybody else, because, like, particularly a tree falling on the guy. Where did the bone doctor go? Oh, duh. There he is. Alright, we'll come back and do a surgeon once we get some more guys later on. Alright, and then we'll see if we have any beds ready. Nope. Need a little longer on that. What else we got? They're still digging out spots. But we do have a jeweler. So we're going to cut all of our gems except for 10 of them in case we need them for later. So I want gems to be greater than 20. So we got to stockpile until I'm ready to set up the other stockpiles. Okay. What's next? We are in mid-spring. We're not going to see our first guys migrating until the end of next. So we just got to keep it going. So let's see. Tree fell on my guy. We got to get him to the hospital. He should have a place in the hospital now. We should have everything out of here by now. Let's see. Are our plump helmets growing? No. Nothing is ready yet. This is at 2. Alright. Let's just let things keep going. And I'm wondering what else I should be talking about. At least the gardeners have finally finished and I don't have to listen to their heavy machinery right outside my window. And like I said, I do keep my chat open while I'm doing these things, even if nobody really looks. Let's see how bad our dwarf was injured. Well, that wasn't him. It was the other dwarf. Rest. Uh-oh. He's gonna need crutches. So let's get another carpentry shop set up, and we can get. We'll get our manager, and we'll set up some basic things. All right, so wooden crutch. We want 10 all the time, so. And splints we'll also need. And as long as we're doing it, let's get barrels in here, because you always need empty barrels. And buckets. Guys, take advantage of your manager. It really comes in handy so that you can enjoy playing the game instead of tracking down what problems there are later on. Whoops. Alright. Oh, as long as we're doing this. We can turn off the other things we don't want taking up our space. So, no. You're just going to become food. No furniture. No weapons. Alright. And since we're going to need some of these things later, but let's see. Let's get the other shops set up. Okay. What were your skills again? You're supposed to be the mason, and I can't keep you busy until we have more stones. So I got to keep my guys digging. So we are going to make them dig all the time. And this guy may as well become a digger also. At least until we get other dwarves helping us along. What the hell, let's have everybody dig. That way we can get down into the good stone, which has to start showing up somewhere. Alright, 1, 2, we'll give 2. Still dolomite, that's far deep. Alright, here we go, down further. Still dolomite, just a lot more metals with it. And bauxite. Oh, I love the bauxite. Bauxite is what I will start using, since I know we have some, for our mechanisms. Where's it? Rock. Oh, this is frustrating. Let's just do it simple like this. I don't mind managing this one myself. Only 2? Well, it's a start. Until I get more digging going on. What else do we have? Hematite. Don't worry, guys. We'll get this going, and I'll start thinking of other things to talk about. Leave things in the comments to ask me for things to talk about, and I'll try to talk about things. But when I'm playing the game, it's hard for me to think of other things by myself, because I'm used to just doing all this, setting it up, letting it run, and kind of watching it mindlessly. Which is fun for me, but not fun for you. But we'll get it. Let's see if any beds were made yet. There we go. Alright, now I can have slightly happier dwarves as they have a place to sleep, even though it's not their own beds yet. But it also helps me have a place for when the migrants show up, and I'm not prepared for them with their own beds. And gotta click in the right place. If you put the door on the inside and then a bridge next to it later on, then you've got your safe place where a werebeast can be trapped. But hopefully we've got our we can get our woodworker back into action, even on crutches. The dwarves are tenacious. He'll go out and cut trees even though he can't walk once he learns how to use his crutches. Alright, and then here's the other fun thing you gotta do early on. Brew your drink from plants when your drinks are less than such and such. And unrotten fermentable is greater than 10, and empty is greater than 10, and we want to make sure we want to build up to at least 500 drinks. And that will keep your farmer busy when he's not busy planting and collecting things to make drinks out of. Alright, and then we can start getting things set up for later when we have more dwarves. Alright, That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And there we go. We come up around with the pattern that I like to make. I'm really so proud of my stupid little pattern that I put together because it's so flexible and we can keep our dwarves busy just creating all these different things. Okay, now here's what I was going to do. I was going to make a place for them to live. Alright, and then this is my administrative level where hospitals, the administrator lives, the royalty live, and also where I do my training later on. So we'll set all that up, but we're going to first need a place for the dwarves to live in their own, and I usually just devote an entire level to their rooms, but I like to come down and leave 2 or 3 empty levels in case I need them later on. Here we go, here's Jet. Alright, sorry, we come down 1. Dolomite. Gosh, there's lots of dolomite. And microcline. Which is good. I like to leave 2 empty levels to create a place for future use. So we'll do 1, 2. Alright, we come down to 3 here, and then we can start where our dwarves are going to live. And just to knock things around, we'll come down in the opposite corner. Alright, and you'll see what I'm doing in just a second. And why the number 42 is so important. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright. And I'll do the first grouping just to get it done. Then I'm set up for 14 dwarves. The administrators will get their own rooms soon enough. But usually when I'm this deep, we're past the fluxstone layer when the fluxstone is up top. So we'll get some other stones to mess around with to create blocks out of. And save our stones for future steel creation. And we'll get that going. Get the larger place cut out. And go ahead and plan for the future. The future. And then you'll see what I like about my little pattern so much, because I can just repeat it as we go up and down. Oh, I don't have anything set up on this side yet. Yes, there we go. Alright, and I come in and fill in all the blanks later. But I like getting it set up. Alright, I was at -10. There we go. Alright, and then that keeps everybody busy. Get those cutouts. We'll get our dwarf rooms set up. And we'll get some happy background music going at the same time. Let's see if we have enough beds to keep going up here. No, well, yeah, 1. How are we on doors? Get a couple of doors going. We can get our broker in office now. I'm sorry, bookkeeper. There you are. Alright, so we've got our bookkeeper and our manager with an office. We got our hospital set up, but it looks like I was shy a couple of beds, so I gotta get those in there as soon as the beds are created. And hopefully we got somebody cutting gems, looks like it, so that when our trader does show up, we've got something to show him. Well, we got everybody doing. Did somebody else get hurt? Who was fighting? Thought I already fixed that. Alright. Rose quartz, cut gems. Where are you guys digging? Alright, so they're carving out some of the spaces I've already set up for future expansion. Okay, good. Now we can start getting the rest of my shop set up. See how quickly they take care of those. Yeah, when you play with the fast dwarf, at least y'all don't have to wait on things as quite as long as me just being boring and talking to myself. Fill in a couple of the gaps here. See how the beds are coming. Bed, bed, bed. Bed. Alright, and we'll go down to the main living area. And we'll fill those in. Oh, ran out of beds. Alright, we'll keep the pattern going. Alright. Oh, good. Alright, our shops are ready for setting up the rest of them. So let's go ahead and build some workshops. Oh, wait, let's see. Yeah, I'm scatterbrained, guys. Make rock blocks. Do we have enough jet? We do have microcline. I guess we've got to switch to microcline. Because you do need a lot of blocks in the game. So let's get those going. Keep our guy busy. Although I do like the color of the jet. I wish I had more jet. Workshops. We need craft dwarfs. I guess I'll use the rest of the jet blocks as long as we're here. Alright, we also need clothing stuff. So we're going to need, to start with, a loom. We're going to need a clothes maker. We're going to need a dyer. It's nice to have them anyway later on. Not a very important shop. Another reason to make sure you've got buckets and barrels aplenty. And then the leather worker. Where are you at? Leather worker. Okay, so now that that's set up, let's see how we're doing up here. Now this is an important one because we haven't started anything on the outside yet. And 6 or 7, late spring. Alright, so we'll be getting our first migrants soon enough. So let's get everything ready. Farming. We need a butcher, and I put them back here for a reason, which you will see soon. I put the tanner next to the butcher so that everything will be fresh when they can make our leather, and just move it later up to the whatcha-dinky, the leather worker. And then, even though I don't have anybody doing it, the fishery does become important later on. So this is where I like to build the fishery. Alright, then on the other side, this is actually a very important shop. The farming workshop. That's where a lot of things happen behind the scenes that keep your dwarves happy. So let's get one built there. And the kitchen, which keeps your dwarves wealthy, or at least able to get everything with the traders. Because one of the things I kind of disagree with this game about is the power of your prepared foods. They are worth a lot of money and can keep you buying what you need every time the traders come through. But it takes a little while to get that industry going well enough so that you can do that. That's why I start with the gems first, because you're always finding little doodads as you're mining around. And you can turn that into money until you're ready to do other fine things with it. Where the hell was I? Farming. We need a kitchen now. And next we're going to need, for the future, because you don't need this right away, but I always like to set it up because I got everything planned out, a wood furnace. And this helps early in the game when you have to set up your blacksmith shop before you've hit lava, because you need charcoal to fire up the furnace, the other furnaces. And then also for future endeavors, we're going to need an ashery. Oops, I don't have enough buckets made yet, so I guess we'll have to come back to that. But this is where the ashery goes, and then this is where the soap maker goes. And I think you'll also like to see, when I get very micromanaging later on, the way this grid works out to help with your storage stockpiles. How to keep that clear. And help clear up, because you know this, you have to know how much this bothers me to have all these loose rocks and everything storing around. I stockpile. I take advantage of the mining system, the mine cart system, and quantum stockpiling is what I guess they call it, along with regular stockpiles to for things that are used quickly and rapidly. And I've been talking so much, my throat is hurting. So when I come back from a quick break, we will work on setting up our first well, so that our dwarves can be happy and have water when the wintertime hits and the river freezes over. If it does, it probably won't in this biome where it's warm, but we need it anyway because they need water. So, I will be right back. Alright. I am back. I am back. There we go. I don't know how the hell people do this for a living, or all day, whether they're making any money or not. But I'm trying to do this for fun and to challenge myself to be able to talk and to try to stay interesting. Maybe it gets better with practice. Who knows? Alright, where was I and what did I just promise to do? Let's see. I'm still setting up the shops. Oh, I promised to make a well. We'll get to that in a second. We probably don't have enough mechanisms since I only had 2 things of bauxite. Where was the bauxite? It was in one of these levels. We can go ahead and pre-dig something to make sure we get more. Ooh, colonite. Bauxite. Let's just go ahead and do a little digging so we have a couple more, make sure we have enough mechanisms to make sure to make everything that we need to start with. This is right below our living level, so I know what we can turn this into. This can become an area for temples, because our dwarves will need some place to worship later on. But let's go ahead and get the outline dug out. Oh, what the hell. Let's go ahead and get a temple dug out. And I set this up for later. You'll see why that's important for me. I usually put pedestals down here so that I can block them off. We can increase the value of the temple so that we can meet whatever requirements for the temple needs to have a value later on. Oh, we need some more beds in here. Let's see if we have enough to fill it up. We do. Bed, bed, bed. And we're going to need doors. Let's see if we have enough. Yes. Alright, we can do this to make it quicker, since we don't care about the quality at the moment. But your beds need doors. Our dwarves like their privacy so that we can set up the bedrooms. Oh. Let me go ahead and create the bedrooms for here, so that I can take care of my other dwarves, the administrators, the important dwarves who always demand things. There we go. That way I can assign them bedrooms and they won't take the other bedrooms and waste bedrooms. Bedroom, bedroom. Alright, let's go ahead and assign them. This one is for the managers, the expedition leader. This one is for the bookkeeper. And then I like to do the broker and the chief medical dwarf. So they're happy. And we're going to need dining rooms to keep them happy soon too. And I can fill in the other gaps later as we get more dwarves in order to make more things. And now we can get back to some of the other things that I was trying to set up. Alright, we need a kern and a press. That's why I need more bauxite. But we also need to tell him to make a kern. So let's find this again. Make rock kern. Or is it... Shit, which is it? No, the millstone requires power, and I don't feel like powering anything yet, so we'll do a kern so that they can make things up. And what the hell, let's make it saltpeter so we can get rid of more saltpeter, since it's one of our low items. Kick that up in priority. Make bed. Alright, let's let's go ahead and get our other carpentry shops ready. Oops, I didn't want to do neatest. That's the other thing I hate. It should remember. I wish it remembered for each setting what you had set up. Workshops, carpenter. Alright. I thought I just turned off the wrong thing. This is what my scatterbrain does. Select material, not use closest. Looks like we're going to run out of jet and jet blocks, but we can make some more. Let's see if we can have enough jet just to do our workshops out of. And let's go ahead and build another masonry workshop. Where are you? Stoneworker. They changed the name, and I'm still looking for masonry workshop instead of stoneworker. But let's go ahead and dig out more masonry workshops to set up for the future. Because one good way to get rid of stone once you have all the blocks you need for what you're building, and we're going to need a lot of blocks for building the exterior stuff to set up our security for when the raids start, are lots of masonry shops. Okay, so that is set up. Now, I like to have the wells set up next to... Oh, but I also do far future planning right now. So let me do the far future, and we'll change this design a little bit. For far future planning, since we have our water so close to where we're setting, where the center is set up, we're going to need a drain that goes all the way down to our first cavern so we can get rid of extra water in case we make the mistake of flooding the fortress, which happens far more frequently than we would like. Alright, so this is where our drain is going to go. Whoop! Looks like I have to take a break, guys. So I will come back later and then we'll take over from there. Talk to you later.